Hey guys, it's me, Michael Lenoci. Make sure you check out some of my upcoming shows. Tickets at michaellenoci.com.
All right, guys, let's discuss it. Let's discuss it. I said I would change my tone if we did not win on Monday Night Football, but we did, unfortunately for you haters. Unfortunately for the Miami Dolphin fans that are haters, which there's a lot of you. I've been watching and reading Twitter and watching YouTube videos, and there's a lot of you, okay? And you know what that means? It means you're a little shaky in your boots. Oh, yeah, Mike, they're 3-6. You really think they're going to go on a run? Yeah, I do. I do, because I look at the schedule and I see what they have ahead of them. And if they keep playing like they've been playing, even though we lost the 2 previous games to game-winning field goals because our defense was a little shaky, offensively, they keep improving. Tua looks good. He looks comfortable in the pocket. He was making plays. He was great on third down last night. And the Dolphins have a chance to make a run right here, similar to what we saw in 2012 when they started off 1-7. We are very much looking at a team that can make that run again, okay? And if you don't believe me, turn on the TV, go on YouTube, and just type in Miami Dolphins. Every single major outlet, TV show, podcast, whatever you want to call it, is saying the same thing. So now they're on board. And let's not forget who was on board last week. I was on board last week, sitting here telling you guys I will not give up because I watched the press conferences of Calais Campbell, of Javon Holland, of Tua, of Tyreek Hill. I watched all of their energy and the way their attitude was. They still believed. They knew that they had one game ahead, one game in front of them, and just to focus on that. And one win can change the whole dynamic of the season. And that was last night with the Miami Dolphins in Los Angeles against the Rams, allowing no touchdown passes against one of a future Hall of Fame quarterback, maybe 2 of the best dynamic wide receiver duos in the NFL. And now we're sitting here at 3-6 with 2 games in front of us. I know we don't want to get ahead of each other, and we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, and we want to look at one game at a time. But we're potentially playing 2 teams that will have the top 5 picks in the NFL draft this year. The Raiders and the Patriots. 2 teams to get right against, and they're not going to take it for granted. Don't get me, they're not. The Miami Dolphins are going to prepare for these and try to get going and try to build momentum going into that Green Bay game. But you're talking about one win away from really changing the whole dynamic of the AFC wildcard. And if you don't believe, that's fine. But you're a Dolphins fan and you're watching these YouTube videos. So you're still in it, and a little part of you still believes. I mean, I have people in my DMs telling me we're trash, it's over for the last 3 weeks before this Rams game. So I don't even want to hear it because I keep receipts, guys. I keep receipts. I know who you are. I know who you were. I know all about your takes on the Dolphins, on your takes on Coach McDaniel. By the way, Coach McDaniel out-coached McVay last night. A Super Bowl winning quarterback. We don't want to give him credit? We don't want to give him credit when he does well, huh? Okay, fine. But then here we are at 3-6. Your last chance to get on the wagon. Because if they win the next 2 and they're 5-6, I don't want you on the wagon. I don't want you on the wagon, man. Because you weren't there when times were tough. But you look at us right now, you're 3-6, and the 7th seed in the AFC right now is 5-5, the Denver Broncos. So we're 3-6, so that puts us, after they have a bye week, and we can catch up, that puts us as a game back almost. All right, let's say we play a game and they don't, we're 4-6, they're 5-5. Okay? We're a game and a half back. We're a game and a half back of the 7th seed. Now, next week, we play the Raiders. Not going to be a pushover, but if there was a team you wanted to face right now that is a pushover, more so than the Patriots or the Panthers, it's the Raiders. Okay? And with a win against the Raiders, hear me out. With a win against the Raiders and a loss from the Broncos play the Falcons. Falcons are coming off a loss, a bad loss, to the Saints. They need to get right quick. Now they're on the road, and Denver does look decent. But they have a rookie quarterback, and then Kirk Cousins and the Falcons need to bounce back and win. there's a very good chance. There's a very good chance the Falcons could win. And if the Falcons win and the Bengals beat the Chargers and the Dolphins win, all of a sudden, we're a half game back from the 7th seed and a game and a half back from the 6th seed. Now, who's going to get excited? You guys are going to get excited because guess what all the shows are going to be talking about next week, too? Oh, look who's on the doorstep of the playoffs after losing, after starting 2-5. Right? Or actually, after starting 2-6. Okay? Starting 2-6, now they're 4-6 on the doorstep of the playoffs with 7 games left to play. After having a quarterback miss 4 games and people being like, oh, McDaniel should get out of there. Greer should be fired for horrible backups. Skylar Thompson got hurt right away. We were using a third-string quarterback, yet running for over 150 yards a game. Oh, but that's a bad coach. When every team we were playing, their main goal was like, hey, stop the run and make Tyler Huntley beat them. And they couldn't stop the run because of McDaniel's schemes. And yeah, we had the lead in 2 of those losses. So I don't know what you guys want to say. Tua last night on 3rd downs, 9 for 12, 131 yards, a touchdown. Unbelievable play. Sloppy game, yes. Unbelievable plays he made. The one to Mostert, right? Okay. The one to OBJ late in the 4th quarter to pick up the 1st down on that last drive to lead that ends up giving us the field goal to put the game away. Huge plays. Huge plays. Plays that usually he wasn't making in the past. Playing great. Playing great. That's all I'm saying. Dolphins D'd up last night. And Bradley Chubb is a couple weeks coming back. I don't think they rush him for the Raiders or Patriots. I expect him to come back for the Thanksgiving game against the Packers, which I don't want to get too far ahead, but boy, is that a big game. And I will say this. If they are going to lose one more, because you're allowed one more loss, because 10-7 will get you in the playoffs. And we talked about this all year. 10-7 will get you in. I don't think 9-8 will. 10-7 will get you in. And I think that if you're going to lose a game, it's the Green Bay Packers. It doesn't affect your conference record. Because right now, Dolphins have the tiebreaker over the Bengals, Broncos, and Chargers. If it was to play out and we all had the same record. Denver's conference record is right now 2-4. And the Bengals conference record is 2-4. And the Colts is 3-4. And Miami Dolphins is 2-4. But guess what? Broncos and Bengals play each other. Chargers play each other. They all play each other out. If you go to Playoff Predictor, we will have the tiebreaker at the end of the year if we win the games we're supposed to win, especially the next 2. I promise you, if we win the next 2, we very well much could be the 7th seed, even before we get to Green Bay. Okay? But the media is on it. The media is all over it. So if you're not reading the room, then what are you doing? Some of you guys are like, sell the players. Get rid of the GM. Get rid of the coach. Overreacting. You got emotional. You get emotional on Twitter. You get emotional on Instagram. And you get hurt. You're hurt. The Dolphins are like a girlfriend that kept cheating on you. That's what it is. You guys are getting cheated on emotionally. And you're upset and you're heartbroken. So you want someone to pay for it. You're getting a little spiteful. But now they come back. And they say, hey, I'm sorry about that. But I want to let you know there's a world where we could be in love. And we could get married and have a family. And that's this year. And just in a matter of 3 weeks, you might be back in love with us. And you might be ready to plan a wedding. I'll bet you if they win the next 2 and they beat Green Bay, a lot of you guys will be like, I'm married to the Miami Dolphins because I believe that they're going to go to the playoffs. And don't you dare not have the belief that at the way things are looking, how fun would this be? You can't even script this. You cannot even script this. Hypothetically, if they go on a run here and they got that 7th seed, and in the first round they had to go to Buffalo, the second. Look, Kansas City most likely going to be the 1 seed and get the bye. The 2 seed looks like it could be the Buffalo Bills. And could you imagine if we were the 7th seed and in wild card weekend, we get to go back to Buffalo? I want that game. So many previous years I would have been like, I don't want to play Buffalo in the first round. I don't want to play Buffalo in the first round. I don't want to go to Buffalo. That's scary. I can't tell you how much I would want to go to Buffalo in the first round. Tua's played great in Buffalo 2 times. The last couple times he's played in Buffalo. Last 3 times. Although there was a shootout, and that was early in the year last year, week 3, after the Denver game. That wasn't as great, but the 2 cold games in Buffalo last week, and then 2 years ago in that snow game, he played great. And I think we have it figured out. And I think with a healthy defense, with Bradley Chubb coming back, and stakes on the line, and our offense that could run the ball really well against a Buffalo defense, just saying, I'm getting way ahead of myself, but you can't script that. Wild card weekend, going to Buffalo, how satisfying would that be? And we always said the goal was to win 1 playoff game this year. Well, guess what? I believe, and I still believe, and I never didn't believe. I knew they were close, and I knew that, hey, you lost those 2 games. You lost to the Cardinals. You lost to the Bills to game-winning field goals, and people were mad, but they weren't evaluating the team and realizing how well they were playing. And they were learning. They were learning how to play complementary football, and they didn't do it in those 2 games, right? They made some mistakes on special teams, defensively, offensively. There was some fumbles. What are you going to do? But Tua is zoned in right now. And he wants to prove something, and right now he is. And you got 2 home games to get it together, to where it's perfect. You get 2 home games to close out your final 6, which would be your final 6 games, okay, after these next 2, right? You win 2, you're 5-6. There's 6 games left. You got 2 against the Jets, 1 against the Browns, Houston Texans, Dome, speedy team we are, very winnable game, home against the 49ers, right? And who am I missing? Is there only 5 left after that? No, there would be 6. Who am I forgetting? Yeah, okay? You have, the Green Bay game. That's why. The Green Bay game, which is like, hey, I'm not getting ahead of myself, but that's a scary game. The Green Bay is a scary game, but if you lost it and you won the others, then it's fine. But the 49ers at home, late in December, it's going to be hot. They're going to be wearing the red uniforms. We're going to be wearing all white. Revenge game for us. Remember we went to San Francisco? Purdy beat us, his first game. Well, guess what? It's your turn to come to Miami, and it's payback. It's payback. Be excited, guys. Be excited. And if you're not excited, that's fine. But then why are you watching this? Why are you participating in this Dolphin fan cast stuff? Okay? I got no DMs this week. Everybody's quiet. Nobody had any rebuttals. Oh, they wanted to ship house. Buffalo game was great. They played a great game. The best one, I would say Buffalo is a top 4 team in the NFL. A top 4 team in the NFL. Kansas City, Detroit Lions, Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers, Buffalo Bills. Those are the 5 best teams in the NFL. And they had to go to the last second and hit a 61-yard field goal to win the game. But yet you guys are like, this team's done. What? What are you talking about? You're talking about a team that went on the road and almost beat one of the best teams in the NFL, and you want to ship it out? Think about it. That's not logical. That's a dumb take. That's a pretty dumb take. You know who you are. That's a dumb take. They almost beat the best team in the NFL, and you want to ship out. Hey, man, a couple, the ball bounces your way on one drive. You win that game. You played better than them. And now here we are going on the road. That's a tough win. That is a tough win. In Los Angeles, traveling across the country after you were on the road last week on a demoralizing loss on a 61-yard field goal. You go back home on a short week, or it's not a short week, but you travel back home on Sunday. You have to prepare for the Rams. You fly across the country. You beat the Rams, and now you have a short week, but you're home for 2 weeks. But now you have the Raiders, who are coming off a bye, who won't be an easy win. But we're tough, and they believe. Go watch the press conferences. Go watch Calais Campbell. Go watch Tua. Go watch any of the coaches talk. They're dialed in, and they believe. So now, do you want to believe or not? It's up to you, man. Do you want to believe or not? Because if you don't jump on now, then you're not going to be able to jump on after the Thanksgiving. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to have anybody jumping on after Thanksgiving. Because where were you when it was tough? You wanted to ship everybody out. You wanted to fire everyone. Horrible take. That's on you for not doing the research, for not watching. Hey, shout out to this channel, the quarterback school. Watch that guy break down Tua's plays. Watch his film, okay? Then you'll learn a little bit more about Tua. Go rewatch the games. Don't just look at the ball. Look at some of the defensive players, okay? You got some no-name defensive players making plays now for the Dolphins, okay? If they play like this, that's an elite offense that they stopped and held without getting a touchdown this week. If they continue to play like this and the offense week by week has gotten better, yes, we keep turning the ball over, but that's going to go away. We're going to clean up those mistakes. How many penalties were in the Monday Night Football game, Michael? How many penalties were? 1? Okay, so we're cleaning something up. So now the players are dialed in. They're practicing and they're preparing perfectly. There's no pre-snap penalties. Tua is out there making sure everyone's lined up in the right place. The timing is perfect, and that's because of Tua. You had these quarterbacks before who had no idea what they were doing. So you had so many pre-snap penalties. They didn't know how to run this offense. It's that difficult. Yes, do I still believe we draft a young quarterback to learn behind Tua for the inevitable when he gets hurt again? Of course I do. But this year I'm dialed in. I'm happy. I'm excited. This defense has the potential to be a top 5 defense and will continue to be a top 5 defense in some categories like they are right now in passing. Okay, so you're telling me that if this offense doesn't get better, we haven't even seen this offense light up yet. That's 27 points 2 weeks in a row and then 23 last night. So we're putting up at least 20. I'll tell you what, you put up at least 27 points in the next 3 weeks, we're going to win all 3 of those, even in Green Bay. You're going to need 30 to beat Green Bay. How about that? 30 points to beat Green Bay, the next 2 just 20. But if you can put up 30 points the remaining of the schedule, this defense isn't allowing 30 points again this whole year. They will not allow 30 points. They're definitely not going to allow over 20 against the Jets. And they can hold the Texans to under 20. And they can hold, 49ers we'll see. But the offense by then should be connecting on all cylinders. You got 3 running backs healthy for this late in the year. You got your wide receiver cores pretty much not nearly as banged up as last year. OBJ starting to get in the groove. You got Jonnu Smith is playing out of his mind. Just the fact that you have the run game and your tight end getting the ball that much, and we haven't even thrown the ball to Waddle and Tyreek as much as we used to, that's scary. How do you not even realize that? Do you think that the Tyreek and Waddle long plays are gone and they're just never going to happen again? Is that what you think is going to happen? That's not the case. It's just not necessary for them to win. We're winning with although the running game got a little stuffed last night. We're winning running the ball, using our tight ends, 10 play drives, 11 play drives, not explosive plays. Those explosive plays are going to be there, man, because people are going to start watching the Dolphins film and they're going to be worried about we got to worry about this run game. We got to worry about him dumping it off to the running back. Achane's getting 30, 40, 50 yards a game out of the backfield. Just kind of doing a little delay, draw, does a little cut across the middle. How many times he's getting the ball? Screens, less screens, but they're still there. Eventually, one of these teams is going to overcompensate for these plays, and then you're going to see the explosive plays from Miami. So, I don't know. I'm excited. I have every right to be excited. I've seen what I've seen. I don't know what you're watching. If you're not excited, then I think you're just a pessimistic person. But I don't know what you're watching. I mean, but how about this? The media around. Go watch Pat McAfee. Go watch Rich Eisen. Go watch Colin Cowherd, our biggest hater. Go watch any of these shows. Listen to what they're saying about the Dolphins. These are the experts, right? These are the experts. Which, with all due respect, I don't think they are when it comes down to specific teams. When I watch the games so much. So I'm seeing it. Like the other week, one of the guys was talking about what was it? What's his name? The old Jets coach was talking about he's not running the ball. I was like, he's not watching the Dolphins. He's just assuming they're not running the ball. That was the case last year. They're running the ball, bro. What are you talking about? So I mean, sometimes these guys have takes, and you're like, what are you talking? Are you not watching the game? So, but now they're all on. They're all in. They're all in. They're all in. Falcons, Broncos next week. Bengals, Chargers. Let's get a Bengals win and a Falcons win next week. Then all of a sudden the Chargers have 4 losses. Chargers got a tough schedule, man. I'm not even willing to say that the 6 seed's out of the question. I'll say the 5 seed is crazy because that's going to the Steelers or Ravens, okay? But I got my eyes on the 6 seed, dude. I think the 6 seed could be a possibility. That's how crazy I am. I think the 6 seed could be a possibility. And if the Ravens beat the Steelers this week and the Steelers lose, they got a hard schedule too. I think the Bengals are our best friend right now. Because look, they have just as many losses as us, and I think they lose more, but they got a lot of teams that we need them to beat, and I think they will. The Bengals are like an extension that's going to help us. Okay? Look at the Bengals' schedule and what they could do to help us. Ready? Okay. Bengals going forward. Teams that they're going to beat that will help us. Okay? Slow movement here. All right. Next up, they have Chargers this week. I think they win. All right. And that helps us because Chargers are the wild card team. Then they have a bye, and then they play the Steelers at home. Now, it doesn't really necessarily help us, but if they win that game and the Steelers lose to the Ravens, the Steelers all of a sudden have 4 losses sitting in the 5 seed because the Ravens would be the 2 or 3 seed. And now the Steelers have 4 losses. There's 2 more losses on that schedule for the Steelers potentially. But also, it makes the Steelers more desperate to beat teams that are in our way going forward too. And the Bengals later on in the year have the Broncos and then the Steelers again. I'm just saying Broncos can help us out a lot. Okay? And then I'll do the Chargers for you. Ready? You want to see the Chargers schedule? And I know they're way ahead of us, right? But let's go look at it. They're 6-3, so they got a 3-game lead on us. They have the Broncos this week. I mean, the Bengals this week, which that could be the 4th loss. The next week they play the Ravens. That could be their 5th loss. Then they have the Falcons. Could go either way. Then they have the Chiefs. Could go either way. Then they have the Bucks. Are you kidding me with this Chargers schedule? Then they have the Broncos. Then they have the Patriots, Raiders to close it out. You can't tell me that there's not maybe 3 more losses right there for the Chargers. That's a tough schedule. And this is why I'm excited. Okay? This is why I'm excited. And now let's even go look at the Steelers. Let's go look at the Steelers. They have 2 losses. They lose to the Ravens this week. That's 3. Then they have the Browns. Probably will win, but it's in Cleveland. Divisional game. You never know. Then they have to go to Cincinnati. That could be a 4th loss. Then they have the Browns again. What if they split the Browns? That's 5 losses. But let's say they win both and they only have 4 losses. Then they go to Philly. Oh, we're a Philly fan that week. That could be a 5 loss. That could be a 5th loss. Then they have the Ravens again in Baltimore. That could be a 6th loss. Then they have the Chiefs. That could be a 7th loss. Then they have the Bengals to close out their season. That could be an 8. Dude, the Steelers could very much not make the playoffs. I swear to God, that's how tough the Steelers' schedule is. They could lose every single one of these games. Now, even if they win half, they definitely could be a 5-loss team or a 6-loss team. The point is, there are so many games to be played. There are so many games to be played, and if the Dolphins just do their job, they control their own destiny. They control their own destiny, man. That Green Bay is a hard game, the 49ers is a hard game, and the Houston's a hard game. They got 3 games on the schedule, and if they could go 2-1, they very much will be in the playoffs. Okay? So that's on you if you want to get on board. And if you don't want to get on board, that's fine. But if you're on board, you got to like and subscribe. You got to like and subscribe and join my channel. And join it. Join it right now because we got a lot. We got a lot of fun things coming. Okay? We got a lot of fun things. Peace out, dudes. Peace out. I'm out of here. And you know, you don't have to be, but go watch. Go watch.